to deliver remarks at a vigil for the victims of the Bourbon Street terrorist attack. Joining us now is Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, member of the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee. Good to see you, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Let's start on the tragic terrorist attack in New Orleans. The suspect, who is an Army veteran, appears to have become radicalized. He posted videos online pledging allegiance to ISIS before the attack. You're on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Was this an intelligence failure? How serious a threat does ISIS and similar groups like al-Qaeda, how much of a threat does that pose to the U.S. right now?
Well, first, Jake, I, feel for the families of all these, victims. It was a horrible incident. All these folks, murdered on New Year's Eve when they should be celebrating. We often track individuals like this one. I wasn't aware of them. I don't think the committee was. The intelligence community seemed to not have this person, on their radar, probably because there wasn't a lot of communications overseas, or I think as far as we know, there wasn't any. We're going to get briefed on this week. Whenever something like this happens, we've got to, reevaluate. Are we doing the right things? Are we looking in the right places? This individual, certainly had some personal problems as well. The guy in Vegas as well, and some mental health issues. So we've got to learn more. We've got to work with law enforcement. I applaud, law enforcement who has such a hard job, keeping us, safe. But after an incident like this, we're going to have to, take a close look at it, make sure the next one doesn't happen.
So social media companies have all sorts of algorithms to profit off of us, right? I mean, we're actually the what they're selling is access to us, to the advertisers.
Yep.
So they know that I like the Philadelphia Eagles. They know I like 70s sitcoms. Do they know? Is there an algorithm that detects when somebody's pledging allegiance to ISIS? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. You're right.
Feels like they should have
They're feeding us stuff that we associate with, just to get more clicks, to keep you engaged. One of the big problems with social media, especially when it comes to teenagers. The teenagers will sit there almost continuously, looking at TikTok or
But I'm just saying
Instagram.
It could be a source of intelligence if Meta and TikTok and the others are, if they have the capability to read my mind when it comes to products I like, can't that be used to find threats?
Well, the intelligence community works with these social media companies like, Facebook and others, and when they're aware of something, they report it to the IC, and it gets investigated. Could we do a better job? I imagine we probably could.
So Senator Katie Britt says that she asked Democratic leader Chuck Schumer twice last year to schedule a briefing on threats from terrorist groups such as ISIS. But she says he never even responded to her. In November, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas and FBI Director Wray declined to testify publicly to the Senate about threats to the homeland. Do you think Schumer fell asleep at the switch here, in terms of making sure all of you're on the intelligence committee, so you have the latest information, but the Senate as a body wants more information?
Well, I can't speak to what Katie requested. We talk about this on the Intelligence Committee practically continuously. Maybe not every week, but we're often getting a brief by the CIA, the FBI, other agencies about what the latest threat is out there. And the FBI especially has a really challenging job. When they're become aware of an individual or individuals that could be a threat to our country, it's hard to make a decision when to act, because you want to fill out who this entire network is. You want to find out if there are other bad actors out there. You want to eventually be able to arrest everybody. But to do that, you have to wait. So this is one of the major challenges they have, to be able to catch all the criminals instead of just one or two. So that's one of the things we discuss in the committee frequently on specific events. Again, this one was not on our radar.
So speaking of the FBI, you just heard your colleague, Senator Banks, who you just met right here at State of the Union.
Yeah, I didn't see him on Friday when he got sworn in.
You just heard him say that the New Orleans attack shows the need to quickly confirm President-elect Trump's national security nominees, such as Kash Patel to be FBI director, Pete Hegseth to be Secretary of Defense, Tulsi Gabbard to be Director of National Intelligence. You're on committees that are going to consider all those nominations. Is he right that dragging out these confirmation battles will jeopardize the national security?
Well, we want qualified, serious people that are ready to do these jobs on day one in these jobs.
Are those three not qualified or serious?
Well, I think in some cases, especially a couple that will come before the Armed Services Committee and the Intelligence Committee, where I'll have a chance to, interface with them directly. I've got some big concerns about their experience, their background. Pete Hegseth.
All three of them, or just Hegseth and
Well, all three of them, but the candidate for the FBI director will go in front of judiciary, I believe. So I'm not going to see him directly. But again, that's somebody that I have significant concerns with. We want people with the background, and especially with national security positions, like DOD, like DNI, like the FBI. We want serious people that have a background to do these very, very hard jobs. DOD, as an example, is one of the biggest enterprises on the planet. $800 billion year budget, 3 million people. It's a hard organization to manage. So I would like to see somebody that has some, significant management experience, has some experience maybe creating defense policy or implementing defense policy. In the case of Pete Hegseth, he doesn't seem to have those. So I'm very interested in seeing what he has to say about his background and his experience that makes him qualified to do this challenging job.
You were a finalist to be Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick. When I last interviewed you shortly before the election, you were confident. You were expressing confidence that she was going to win. Kamala Harris was going to win Arizona in the presidency. Obviously, that did not happen. Now that you've had some time to step back and process it all, what do you think went wrong for Democrats?
Well, obviously, I was wrong about that. I thought she was going to win. I thought she was going to win Arizona. I knew it would be close, and it wasn't that close in Arizona.
Close, yeah. 5 or 6 points?
I think we missed, some things about what the American people really cared about at that moment in time. An election is sort of a snapshot in time, and we missed some things, and we've got to learn from that, and we've got to get back to work and do the work of the American people. I represent the state of Arizona. We've got a lot of hard work ahead of us, a lot of challenges we're facing, national security challenges, economic challenges. It's now up to us to get to work and, make good decisions here in Washington. And we've got another election in 2 years. It's kind of far away. And we're going to work to earn the support of the American people.
All right, Senator Kelly of Arizona, good to see you, sir. Happy New Year. Say hi to Gabby for us.
I will do that.
We appreciate it. Coming up, trouble ahead for House Speaker Mike Johnson. I'm going to talk to new members of the House of Representatives.